Some of my content has mention of extreme violence, sexual assault, and/or other triggering content. Discretion is advised. I don't know if you guys have seen this like I have, but there are a couple of awesome, amazing survival stories that have came out of 2021. And as we get started with 2022 and rolling the ball into the next year, I wanted to bring you something a little more uplifting, even though this is really bad. It's still survival stories of 2021. So buckle up, let me tell you a couple stories of these awesome survivors. Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel, Dark Enigmas. I am so glad you are here. I have made some awesome friends and I am so excited to kick off 2022 with you all. That being said, I don't know if you guys have read what I have read, but there are some pretty intense survival stories that came out of this year, and I just wanted to go over them with you guys and bring a little awareness to the fact that there are people who survive being kidnapped, survive being held, and that there is hope for missing persons cases. All right, so if you were living under a rock and did not pay attention to the true crime community in 2021, there is a case of a missing child over in Australia that blew up. And this case is hard. I want to do a little bit of a trigger warning for just this overall video. This first story does have mention of children, a child, and I know that's not what some people want to listen to. So if that's not your thing, skip it or skip this whole video. That's fine with me. The second story is an awful story. There is trigger warning of rape and kidnap, just really horrible things. So if that's not your cup of tea either, I am understanding of it all. So let's get into this case of this missing young girl. So 4-year-old Cleo Smith disappeared from a tent while camping with her family. She disappeared on October 16th, 2021 from a campsite in Western Australia. In an interview after her disappearance, her mother said that the little girl had gone to bed in the family's tent around 8 p.m. She woke up the next morning around 1:30, asking for a drink of water, and then returned to sleep after being given the water. When the family woke up at 6 a.m., they discovered that both Cleo and her sleeping bag were missing. The tent that the family was sleeping in was opened to a length of about 30 centimeters, which is 1 foot, from its original position. The family briefly searched around the campsite for Cleo, but there just wasn't anything there. They couldn't find her sleeping bag and they couldn't find any sign of her. So they informed the police about 6:30 a.m. A police car was dispatched, and minutes after the phone call, they dispatched and they came out about 7:10. They conducted air, land, sea search all around for most of that day. Her mom stated that Cleo wouldn't just leave them. She said, quote, "She would never leave us. She would never leave that tent. Cleo wasn't a girl that would go off alone." And so they just continued this search. On October 20th, Inspector John Mundy said that the zipper on Cleo's tent was open higher than she could have reached, stating the positioning of the zipper was a primary factor in Cleo's safety. They weren't thinking she walked off on her own. This little girl could have not unzipped this tent into the position that it was. So this was when it was like, oh gosh, she's in danger, immediate danger. We need to find her. This is also when it became really widely known. It started hitting news around this time that she was gone. A lot of rumors online started pointing fingers at the family, which is usually what happens in cases of children. A lot of times the parents are blamed. Now, it was announced on October 21st that the police believed that Cleo had been abducted. There was a $1 million reward for any information on her disappearance, and that attracted a lot of like bounty hunters to search the area around for Cleo. So while the police did not rule out that she might have been taken across the borders into another state, the commissioner, Chris Dawson, noted that there had been a lot of border safety measures in 2020 and 2021 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. They were restricting travel and making it very difficult to travel from state to state, let alone with a missing child. Now, on November 3rd, 2021, Cleo was found by police and she was alive and unharmed. She was found inside of a locked house minutes from her home in Carvanon, the town that she lived in. A 36-year-old man was taken into custody after the car he was driving was stopped by police. Cleo was reunited with her family that same day. Police had broken into the home at 12:46 a.m. and found Cleo in one of the rooms. There is a possibility, or apparently, that forensic leads had led them to a search warrant of this man's house. The man that was taken into custody had no connection to Cleo or her family, as far as they know. However, this man was on the police's radar. His neighbors described him as being quiet and kind of an oddball, but they didn't believe that he would do something like this. The police said that this was a crime of opportunity. There has not been anything come out that said that he was stalking Cleo or knew where she was, but you kind of lead to believe that, I mean, come on, like, he lived so close to her home. He knew that she was camping, and it was a crime of opportunity. He just did it because he could. So the discovery of Cleo was attributed by police to a key clue of a car spotted driving away from the campsite in the early hours of October 16th. Police made a plea for further information, and this was the tip that they got that led them to Cleo. So no tip, no matter how small, this could lead to a child surviving. So always keep that in mind, that just because you think that a tip is so tiny, it could really change a whole investigation. On November 4th, 2021, police charged 36-year-old Carvano resident Terrence Darrell Kelly. Now, he's a weird guy. Being weird does not make you a kidnapper, but in this instance, it did. We will see more this year. This is still very new, but we will see more in 2022 how he gets charged, maybe his motive, and also what this little girl went through. I can't imagine that this was easy for her. There's a lot of trauma in the situation, and my heart goes out to Cleo and her family, because her family was under suspicion for doing this and they didn't have anything to do with it. So I'm so glad that Cleo is home and safe. There is possibility for these cases to end this way. Now, our second case is very close. It happened very recently, and that is the case of Madelyn Allen. If you don't know this case, it has blown up in the last, week or so. So this girl was seen leaving her dorm at Snow College, Utah, on December 13th at 9:22 p.m. It's very unclear why this took place, why Madelyn left. Yeah, it's just very unclear. However, Madelyn was found. She was found on December 18th. She was alive and in the basement of a 39-year-old suspect's home. Now, according to the affidavit, this man says that they met on the Kik app, K-I-K, which is a communication app, and that they were role-playing kidnapping and rape fantasies. This man is Brent Brown, and he was arrested and charged with obstruction of justice, aggravated kidnapping, rape, and object rape. Brown picked up Allen the day that she went missing and drove her to Loa, a town in Wayne County about 87 miles from her school. Now, Madelyn's parents became very concerned when they received a text from her phone on December 14th. The text just said, "I love you," and that was it. And that was kind of strange. So the police pinged her phone, which I'm so glad that the police actually jumped into action on this case. It could have gone a lot differently if they would have labeled her a runaway, as they do with a lot of cases, especially with an adult. So yay to that police force. So that ping that happened on her phone led them to the house of Brent Brown. The police observed what they believed to be Madelyn in the basement. When he answered the door, he said he was alone. Madelyn was being held in a coal storage area in the home's basement, and she was naked and completely covered in coal. Her hair was cut and she was very, very dirty. Brent was in possession of 3 knives when he was arrested. He also had a gun, and he confessed that he let her text her parents, and then he threw away her phone in a trash can. He had tied her up and held her there, and he said he gave her food while he went to work, which, how considerate of you, Brent. Now, Madelyn told investigators that Brown raped her on several occasions. He would choke her and cover her nose and mouth until she couldn't breathe. He threatened to go after her family, and if she left, he would harm them, or if she told anybody where she was. Now, I don't shame the BDSM community or any of the like, But they will be the first ones to say that all of those things have to be consensual. This is a case that is not that at all. He is claiming that. And there's a lot of people that claim that this is a fantasy that they are doing with their partner. This is not that. This is kidnapping a young woman, holding her hostage, raping her repeatedly, and you knew that you were going to get in trouble because you threw away her phone. I mean, this guy doesn't stand a chance in court, and I really hope that they throw the book at him or a bullet. I don't usually say that, but what this girl has gone through now will change her life. And this disgusting man did this. I don't know if he took her while she was walking, or if she got in his car willingly, thinking that they were, talking on this app. Whatever it is, there is no excuse for the events that led after. And I'm sure that the law will come down on him very hard. We'll have to wait and see in 2022 how that all plans out as well. So over the years of me listening to true crime and me kind of investigating these cases as I do, there's been a lot of tips that have come out of me knowing about true crime. And a lot of that is survival tips of when you are in a dangerous situation. Let me do say, and I'm going to reiterate this a lot, I'm not a professional. I don't no, it's not. These things are not every situation. This is what you do. There's not a rule book for trauma. There's not a rule book for kidnapping and murder and all of that. These are just things that have helped other people that if you are in the situation, you could try. I will also say, there is survival stories out there of people who have survived a long time. There is people who have been held for just an extreme amount of time, but there are survivors. There are people that get through this. And so if you're ever in this situation, just remember that you can get through it. And just convince yourself that you will get through it. So that's my biggest number one tip. Some of these I also found on survival websites. I can link those below as well. So here are my tips. First of all, change your schedule up. We don't think about the daily routine that we have, but people prey on predictability. So if you drive the same way home every day from work and you work this amount of time and you just have this rigid schedule, people know what you're doing when you're doing it. And that just lets them know where you're going to be for a possible abduction. So change your schedule up. Take a different route home, circle the block if you have to. Just do something different to try to make your schedule less predictable. I am not saying this is going to stop perpetrators. The people that commit crimes, a lot of times with stalking, with murder, with abduction cases, these people are going to go to the ends of the earth no matter what you do. But in case, it's always good to just change up what you do. Another thing that a lot of people say, and a lot of survivors have said, is that they comply. They do what their abductor says. They do and take orders, whether they want to or not, and that has helped them survive. Another one is something I didn't think about, and that is to eat what they give you. You're thinking of, I don't want to eat right now. I don't want to do that right now because I am in trauma. But if you think about it, you need that strength. First of all, to fight mentally and physically. You need to survive as long as possible. So doing what they say and also eating what they want you to eat or what they give you, taking opportunities to take a bath or a shower, those things can help you down the road in the long run. And when you're in a trauma situation, you're not thinking of that. And I understand completely. Another tip is to try to stay as physically fit as you can. These perpetrators a lot of time will starve you, will try to make you think that you are not strong. And so one thing I didn't think about was that if you are locked in a basement and you have a room, and you're able to move and do things, to keep yourself physically fit for mental reasons, but also so you can fight off your attackers. They will not see that coming. Another tip that I have seen a lot is to humanize yourself. Talk about your family. Talk about your interests. If they start talking to you about things that they like, use that. Say, oh, we have so much in common. Oh, let's talk about this. A lot of times perpetrators don't see you as a human being. They see you as an object. So being able to humanize yourself and to say, I have feelings, I have family, I have kids, I am a person, sometimes will trigger that perpetrator to view you differently and keep you alive longer. Now, in this situation, the best thing, and I have read this many times, is to stay calm. And when you're in a traumatic situation, you're not thinking of that. But if you have time to think about the fact that you need to survive. So staying calm, not fighting all the time, talking to this perpetrator in a calm manner is going to get you further. And your whole object in this is time. The longer you're being held and not being killed, is the longer that the authorities have to find you, that your family has to find you, and that you have. So you're in this fight against time. Time is important. Get yourself as far as you can. Of course, take any chances to fight, to get away, to get help. If you are in a situation of domestic violence, if you're in a situation of being held captive, think in your mind of ways that you can help or get help. I know that a lot of people are talking about this signal, right? I'm talking to you and I'm just doing that, right? Doing that can signal to someone, I need help. And recently we have seen that save someone. Maybe not everyone knows it. Take that chance. Do that signal if you can safely to alert someone. Say it under your breath to someone and just get out of there. Comply and just wait. Now, another thing is to be aware of everything around you. And when you're in a trauma state, you're not. But if you can, while they're taking you or where you are, or if they say something, you can remember for later where you are, a person's name, a location of what happened. These things are vital to an investigation afterwards. Now, this is not something people want to think about. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to put myself in this state, but if you believe that you are going to die, if you truly have fought as long as you can, if someone is actively killing you, leave DNA somewhere. DNA is going to help your family get the justice that you deserve. So scratching can get that DNA under that fingernails, hair pulling, blood evidence. These are things that investigators are going to look for if it happens to be a homicide investigation. We don't think of these things. I have heard of victims that do, and I'm just like, I'm baffled, because in a traumatic situation like that, you're not thinking that far ahead. So if there's a possibility you can leave your hair, leave, DNA somewhere, you can really help an investigation. And if you get out of it, it can help you. If you don't, it can help you. So just have that in the back of your mind as well. Do what you can in every situation to stay strong and survive. Now, this is in every situation, in life, in true crime, in everything. Stay strong. You are a wonderful human being. You are meant to be on this earth for a reason. We all are. And so stay strong. Stay mentally and physically prepared. And remember these stories. There is stories of people surviving this. You can be one of those. You are strong. You are special. Please let me tell your survival story. I just think that this gives a lot of hope. These two stories are horrific. The things that I talk about on a daily basis are horrific. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? I mean, there's justice, there's moving on, and there is life. And these two stories are prime examples that life can go on past your horrible experiences. You can use it for good. So stay safe, my friends, in 2022. I'm loving that we are seeing survival stories. We're seeing a lot of missing persons. We're seeing a lot of death, but we are seeing these glimmers of hope. And I love that. I just think that's amazing. I reported on Lachey Norris a couple videos ago, and at that time, we didn't know if she was going to survive. We didn't know if we were going to go into a homicide investigation. And it came out that she was perfectly fine. And so I just look at those stories and I'm empowered with how things can turn out, how things can be good. True crime is heavy. This stuff is horribly heavy. So find a glimmer in this horrible, crazy life we live. Enjoy life. Enjoy your loved ones. Tell them that you love them. And it's okay to like true crime. We're not crazy. There's this stuff that we can learn from it. So take my tips, take my stories, use them as you will. I hope you never have to use them, but they're there if you need them. Yeah, I will link some resources, some helpful tips, domestic violence stuff, if you're in a situation like that. I will also link some good organizations to help you. But yeah, this was a little bit lighter, right? I mean, it was terrible, but we got good things out of it. All right, I will see you guys next time with another story, and have a good day, be safe, and I'll see you later. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video or any of my other content, please click the subscribe button and the bell and the like button to help me with my content and my channel as it grows. Also follow me on social media platforms. Right now my biggest form of communication outside of YouTube is TikTok, so please add me on there. I make some funny true crime content on there. So thank you guys for watching. Love you.